All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is David Rasco from Insight, and we'll be starting shortly. Thank you for your patience. All right, good afternoon, everybody. Once again, I show it to be 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 1 o'clock Central, which is the scheduled start time, but we'll wait a few minutes to let everybody else join and make sure we have everybody attending that wants to attend. So please stand by for just a few more minutes. Good day to everyone who's recently joined. This is David Rasco from Insight, and we will start the webinar in roughly 2 minutes. All right, well, let's get going. Good day, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on today's webinar. We appreciate the time you've taken out of your busy day to spend a few minutes with us. As I mentioned earlier, my name is David Rasco, and I'm a software account manager here at Insight, and I support you as one of our indirect Microsoft Cloud Solution Provider reseller clients in any and everything I can do to help you grow your business by utilizing the Microsoft CSP program. So thank you very much for all of your business to date. Also on the line with us from the Insight side of the house is my coworker and teammate, Jeff Rosenberg. Some of you may be familiar with Jeff, as he may have helped you enter into the program when you very first signed up to use Insight as your CSP provider. So both Jeff and I will be on the call throughout, and we'll be available for any questions as they arise that Insight can help answer. But you're really on the call today to hear from a very important partner of ours and a very important partner to Microsoft, and that's Champion Solutions Group. So if you're not familiar with Champion Solutions Group, they're almost a 40-year-old company, actually founded in 1979. They're a $125 million company, so a very large company, and they're based in Boca Raton, Florida, there in the greater Southeast. I've actually worked with them directly when I was a Microsoft employee, so I can vouch for them personally that they're very great at what they do. Just in regards to Champion as a Microsoft Cloud partner, basically on some Office 365 type information, to give you a little bit of a background, they've actually migrated over 3 million users to Office 365 to date. They're also recognized by Microsoft for having the highest percentage of adoption for all of their Office 365 clients. So not only do the clients buy Office 365, Champion helps them deploy as many workloads as possible from all the available services that are within that bundle. The product they're going to talk to you about today, MessageOps, was actually acquired by Champion back in 2012. So they've had this software as a service product going on 5 years. So if you're not familiar with MessageOps, they're going to go into it in great detail, but high level, MessageOps basically creates Office 365 tools to help your end users with migration or management and adoption of those tools. So really, it's a great complement to the Office 365 cloud services that your customers may already be buying. So that's enough for me. So let me introduce you to the gentlemen at Champion Solutions Group. Chris Pyle is their Chief Executive Officer, and also who's going to do most of the presenting today is Tony Cefaletto. He is the Director of Partner Relations. So let me turn it over to Tony, let him say hi, and he will take it from here.
Great. Thank you, David, and thanks everyone for your time today. Hoping you're going to find this very useful. And really what I wanted to do was, before we dive into the tools, there's really 3 reasons that I see that, me being in your shoes, why I would really care about the tools. So I just wanted to cover those before we jump in. So, one, because Champion, we have migrated 3 million users over to Office 365 and really winning that business, especially early on. We wanted to set ourselves apart, because there's thousands of partners out there. So really, our goal was to set ourselves apart. And why would they buy from Champion as opposed to another partner down the road? Because we all know there's plenty of partners out there. So the first reason that I think the tools that we're going to show you are important is really just to set yourself apart from other partners. So that's kind of the first reason. The second reason, as you know, once you get clients to go to you, you want to make them sticky. You want to make sure that they stay with you, because they can jump to another partner. It's that kind of world now with cloud. They could be with you today and gone tomorrow. And you can also lure other people's clients over. So really, we want to put you in that best position, because once they adopt all of the tools that you use and they start adopting the software, it's going to make them sticky. So you're going to be able to not only get them to your company, but keep them. And the third one is increase your revenue and profit. Profit doesn't have to be a dirty word when it comes to cloud. So you want to do whatever you can to increase that profit. So when you have these additional tools, not only are they going to keep the customers with you, help you get new customers, but increase that revenue and profit. So hopefully those three reasons you find that they're as important as we find, as a company. So having said that, I wanted to turn it over to Chris Pyle, because Chris has been that visionary for Champion, really, invented these tools along with our developers for those three reasons specifically. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Chris, and he's going to show you a little bit more specifically on these tools.
Hey, thanks a lot, Tony. I appreciate it. David, what a great introduction, man. Thank you so much. You really did a good job there. So I appreciate the props that you gave to us today. So the first thing I think that's really different from us versus a lot of the other vendor partners that you might work with is we sell directly to end users just like you do. And we really understand, what you're going through and what it takes, as Tony mentioned, to stand out in the sea of sameness, and how to derive real value to the client at the same time without exhausting a tremendous amount of overhead and effort. How can you do that in a more scalable fashion? And we believe what we've created is really going to benefit you as it's benefited us and the clients that we serve. So I take it, David, just real quick, if I can ask you a question, David, if that's okay. Everybody on the phone here is, Office 365 CSP resellers. Is that correct?
Yes, the prime majority of them. Some of them may be prospects that are entering into the program, but the vast majority should be current CSP reseller clients already.
Right. So they're you guys out there in the world, right, David? We're out here and we're trying to make them more successful, have them sell more Office 365 seats, recognize more, MRR, monthly recurring revenue from those Office 365 seats. And, really that's what Insight's about. And that's why they, really tapped on us and say, hey, man, you guys got to come in here and help us out. So let's go ahead. So the first thing that we're gonna talk about, and you can see my screen, we're gonna talk about this adoption platform that we've created, and tens of thousands of users are utilizing it today. But let's talk about how we came up with the idea. So first of all, right, you migrate everybody to the cloud. That's just the first piece, right? You probably make some money on the pro services, the professional services, on migrating them from an on-premise exchange environment, or maybe from some pop mail, or maybe from some other type of mail system to Office 365. And then, okay, so you made your money there. All right, well, how else are you guys going to make money, right? And what we're seeing is that you want to make sure that the customers are utilizing all the workloads within Office 365, right, David? We want to make sure that the customers that we sell to, if they buy an E3 SKU, we don't want them, reducing that to an E1 SKU, because we all make less money, right, on that one, David? So we want to make sure that they're utilizing the full breadth of what we sold them.
Absolutely. And maybe even get them to E5 down the road.
Exactly. Cross-sell, upsell them. So your monthly recurring revenue goes up into pro serve. So what we found out, and and David did a really good job mentioning that we were awarded, some type of award from Microsoft that really spoke about that. Our utilization rate of the products that we sold them, our millions of customer seats, is at the highest out there. And we're going to tell you about how we do it and the products that we sold in order to make that happen. And the first one is Office 365 adoption. So, David, you and I had this conversation last time we spoke. We went out to the thousands of people and that we work with, and we said, hey, guys, if somebody's got a question of how to use OneDrive, how do they get the answer? And it's funny, in the end users that you guys serve, a lot of them would say, well, we would ask Bobby, he's our help desk guy. I would ask him how to do it. And then Bobby would be like, I really don't know OneDrive too well. Or so let me just Google it for you. Or, let's just go ahead and ask somebody else. Or, let's go to YouTube and look it up. What we found is that the end users that you guys are selling to, that you have sold Office 365 to today, don't have one common portal to go get the answers for all things Office 365. They know how to utilize it for email and calendaring, but God, like you mentioned before, David, if you're on E3, you want to get into E5, you're not going to get into an E5 unless you're utilizing a lot of what the E3 SKU has. So how do we communicate and collaborate with the end users to make sure that they're adopting that? And most of your customers do not have an end user portal, and that's what we built in Office 365 adoption. So that's what I'm going to take you to. Very simple. I'm going to take you to, the first thing is I'm just going to open up my my mail, and I want to show you how easy this is to access. So everybody's familiar. I use Outlook on the web. I like Outlook on the web, but if you wanted to use the Outlook client, you could do that as well. So you can go there. And again, if you're using the Outlook client, we can also support that. So it doesn't much matter. So in here, you'll notice I'm in the mail. You'll see this question mark here, and you can go into the question mark. And I don't know if how many of you guys actually have seen the question mark in the Outlook on the web, but it's up here. And when you click on that, it brings you to help. So any of your end user customers say, wow, I need some help. Well, let's go right here. You'll notice right here it says Office 365 adoption. And they click that, and what happens, whoops, let me just get out of here real quick. I got to sign back in. What happens is that the customers will get brought automatically over to this Help Me page. Now, why is this cool? Because a lot of the people that you're working with, they really like self-help. They want to be of assistance. And what we found is a lot of the help desk personnel, they don't know everything about Office 365. So we created this knowledge base. So if you notice that I did have to sign in because I was out of Office 365, I had to sign in, but as soon as you signed in, you're in for good. And you'll notice here that it knows that it's me because it's single sign-on. And you'll see here, it says, here's the most popular questions going on in my environment right now. So, David might say, nah, that's not what I'm looking for. He can look at a category and say, hey, you know what? Am I looking for information on Skype or Sway? No, that's not what I want either. Or maybe he just really has a question about, I want to know how do I, how do I change color of calendar? And that's the question, from that perspective. And I don't even know if I spelt it right, so let's see if it works out. But what this does is it comes out and it searches, 3 knowledge bases, and it brings up and it can say, do you want to change the background color of your calendar there, David? Is that what you're looking for? Do you want to change the appearance of your calendar? Do you want to change the color of an event on a calendar? You want to assign a color category? And so automatically, you can do this and you can ask it any question that you would like, and it will come back and really give a quick answer no matter what, no matter what the answer is, or what the question is, maybe it's around channels, how do I start a channel, start a channel in Teams. In Teams or whatever the thing might be. So you can ask it any question that you would like. So here's, Teams and channels, and, you can go in there and you'll see that this brings you to Teams and channels and how to go ahead and start that. You can go ahead and create anything you want. How do I join a team? It'll tell you about that. How do I create a new team? But we took all of these different 3 knowledge bases from Microsoft and brought them together into one simple, easy to use place. So that's one piece of the Office 365 adoption platform. Anybody have any, or David, does that make sense to you? And Tony, am I heading in the right direction here?
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Okay.
So let's say the more they utilize, the better customer they'll be.
Right. And so now let's say they wanted to say, well, that's not really that didn't answer my question. Well, they can simply click here. And it says, thanks a lot for trying to resolve the issue on your own. We're sending your query to help desk now. So then we can route that ticket to your help desk, maybe to Insight's help desk, or to the company's help desk. Not really sure, but the point is that we're alleviating and giving the opportunity for your customers to try to solve the problem on their own first, and then route it to the appropriate help desk. We also see many partners utilizing this as their help desk knowledge base to answer customers' questions. So that's just one piece. The other piece that we have is that a lot of companies, they don't know what Office 365 is. So you have a new employee. Well, what is Office 365? So, we've developed and we've put these videos right in here where, the customer look and say, what is Office 365? They can look around and they can say, well, maybe I want to learn my way around Office 365. Is there adoption guides? Maybe I want to look at some PDFs, and we have every single PDF quick start guide available. So like we just created one for Teams, which is part of Office 365. So we can do that. And these, they can print all of these out and be able to, put them on their cubes. But again, you guys as the partner for these your clients, you're adding value by saying, look, we know that just selling you Office 365 and migrating to the cloud, my job is not done. I want to make sure that, you have, the best tools be able to enable your customers to adopt and consume Office 365. Maybe they want to figure out how to collaborate openly on teams and projects. Well, then we put together the stop, start by using. So stop attaching files and email by using, and stop using email for discussion. Start using shared workspaces by using sites in Office 365. So we're really giving them suggestions of how to do things. We have a vision statement here of why is your customers moving to Office 365? And we're going to show you why and how a customer can change the vision statement. We have a tremendous amount of how-tos. So maybe it's, using, maybe you want to discover Planner. Here's all the things that you can do in Planner. We've put all that there so a customer can look at that real quick. We've also developed a lot of snackable videos, 5-minute videos of, how to use, OneDrive for beginner, all different types of things here, but all very snackable, easy to consume type of videos that are in here as well. We've also developed resources for the Office 365 administrators, top planning and performing tools, top Office 365 troubleshooting tools. We've also come up with different ways to manage groups within the admin center. We came up with the best tools for Office 365 administrators as well as for help desk. And we're seeing a huge uptick in consumption of Microsoft Teams. So as an administrator, how do you get the most out of it? What's the administrator settings, known issues, etc. So very good there. We already went over the help me section. So now you might be saying to yourself, well, that's great. Well, how do I change the look and the feel of this to be more respective of my company or my customers that I serve? So let me go through all of this. And this came a lot from our partners and the users that we work with. So you can come up and you can update the company logo here really quick. And then throughout, you can customize what is shown on each customer's adoption page. So maybe, they don't want, the getting started. Well, you don't have to show that, or the resources. You can click and choose what you want displayed, whether it's the links that you want or the content. So let's face it, a lot of customers, we know this, David, from our research, that customers, they might roll out an E3 or an E5, but they might not want to roll out everything at one time. So you don't want to display everything at one time. So you might want to say, well, we're not using Android phones. We'll take that off. I don't want to use Yammer yet. Or I'm not going to use Sway, so don't display anything. And we're not using Office 365 video, so don't display that either. So you can customize what is shown in your site or content. And then the other great thing is, David, that our customers really love, man, is that what we're going to do on your behalf, everybody on the phone here, is we're going to send out tips and tricks on a bi-weekly or monthly basis. We're going to be getting rid of the weekly because it's too much, but bi-weekly or monthly, we're going to be sending out tips and tricks, because we know that adoption and consumption is not a one-time thing. So we're going to consistently send out really beautiful, elegant, easy to consume tips and tricks. And once again, you can choose what tips and tricks you want to be sent to your customers, and you can, either, and they can do it themselves as well, is determined by what they click on, what they're going to get. The other interesting thing is that you and your customers can customize, the home page. We started at the home page. If you remember, you got this video up here. You don't have, if you didn't want this video, you wanted something else. I want to show you all these different settings here and what you can do. So we talked about the content, but then you can change. If you have a custom video that maybe you guys want to put your video up there, just give us a URL link and we'll put that right up there for YouTube. The customer, we give them 4 visions of why they're moving to Office 365. They can choose one of the 4, or they can customize their own. If the customer wanted to add an optional homepage content, they can create all of that in here. And it's really interesting, David. A lot of our customers said, man, I love this. Can I add other quick start guides? And the answer is absolutely. They can add other quick start guides. Maybe they want to know how to use the payroll system. Maybe the customer wants to know how to use the healthcare system, whatever it might be. And if they have a quick learning guide they want us to put up in the portal, they can do that as well. Very, very simple. Here's the help desk email. Remember we talked about, well, who would we route the help desk to? Well, we would just simply put in the email of the help desk, whether it's your help desk, the end user's help desk, Insights, and there you go. Or they can create a whole new page completely, and they can do all of that. So a lot of great things, very customizable per end user. And then the other cool thing that you guys are going to like a lot, well, let me just show you how do you, so you're like, okay, great, how do I push it out to my end users? You can push it out through a group policy. I mean, it's very simple. Or you can send, an email out, and you can do it, the end users can do it one at a time if they would like. And you can set that up from there. So let me just show you. So here's a template here that you can send out. You want to perform better meetings. You want to learn how to do all this. And we write all this up for you. They can simply click here, and we'll download the stuff automatically. And if they want it in the ribbon, as you can see here, David, we had it before in the help desk in the question mark. But if they wanted to put it in the Outlook ribbon, they would just simply click this and follow the directions. In 3 easy steps, it would be deployed into the Outlook ribbon so they could access it real easily. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay, cool. And then the other great thing is we have all this help me reporting. So you can look as a partner, you can look and say, what questions are my customers asking? And you can look at the name of the customer, the email that they're asking, the last 50 that were solved, and you can look at the ones who were not solved, all these different things, who was asking, and how would you use this? And you can do it by date, you can do it by search. So now you can actually engage your customers and say, hey, I see you're asking a lot of questions about how to use OneDrive. Would you like me to come in and do a training session on how to use OneDrive? Opportunity for you to make money, etc. So a lot of great on-demand metrics there. So I think that's
Chris,
yeah.
Maybe if I could just jump in a little bit. And I think the best thing is to, from a marketing perspective, is to make this part of your package too. So you're the one selling it to your client, not not Insight, not Champion. You'll buy it from Insight, and Champion will be here to support you along the way. But this is your offering, so that's the way that it works out the best for us, is to talk about it like it's your own product. So you're going to supply those tips and tricks. You're going to help them with adoption, help desk, all of that. So it's a nice complete package. So really, these tools are, should fit well into your marketing scheme. So we're not selling direct or anything like that. It's all coming from you, through this partnership with Championship and Insight.
Yeah, I would agree with what Tony just said. 100%. When you're selling Office 365, just bundle this in. I mean, every customer needs it. It's not like, oh, of course, I don't want to figure out how to leverage my product and train my users. So you'll get all of this great portal, for your customers, and a way for them to ask questions to get the most out of their investment and really unleash the business value. So I would just, if the way we do it is we just bundle it in on every Office 365 seat. Yeah, to your point. Okay, so I'm going to move on, if that's okay with you, David, and show a couple other the other platforms that we have. Is that okay?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, great. So now you guys have figured out, okay, great. I got a great thing that's going to help my customers adopt and consume Office 365. It's a great on-demand learning, great way to have self-service help desk. Okay, that's great. So now we want to talk a little bit about how do we light up more workloads? How do we get them to consume more of the product that I sold them? And how do I develop more money, more reoccurring revenue, more professional services opportunity for my organization? So what we've done is we created a, we call it the SharePoint Productivity Suite. And if you just type that in, SharePoint Productivity Suite, we should show up on number 1. Yeah, so the SharePoint Productivity Suite is made up of 3 SharePoint Online templates. And to call them a template would be an understatement. They do so much more. But every one of your customers, we believe, will need the following templates. The first one we call is Root. And Root's a corporate intranet, and we're going to show that to you in a second. But every company wants to communicate and collaborate with their employees. They want to be able to keep people up to date and be able to share company information. So we developed Root. Every company that we've spoken to wants to train their employees. How do I better train my employees? Well, we developed a template in Office 365 SharePoint called Crown, which is a learning management system with gamification. We're going to show you that. And every company that we know of has contracts that they need to manage for their business and assets that they own that they need to keep track of and to do maintenance on. So we believe out of the 3, the 3 things that we said, well, what would the masses need? Communication, collaboration through a corporate intranet, training their customers, their end users on how to use whatever it is that their business is, whether it's how do I use an X-ray machine to how do I use the drill press, whatever it might be. And then the other is the asset management. So we're going to go ahead and start off. And Tony, please jump in anytime if you have anything to add. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on Root. So this is Root, and by the way, this is our site internally. Everything that we sell, we use. And I just want you to notice something here. We're in Office 365. Okay, I haven't left Office 365. I didn't have to sign into this. But here's a nice, simple intranet that you guys and girls can sell to your clients. It runs right in Office 365. We'll have it up and deployed within 8 hours. And what does it do? So let's just quickly go through it. So maybe the first thing that every intranet has is, user search. So maybe you wanted to do a user search, and you can search on all the customers in your office or in your company. You can search by name, you can search by title, you can search by department, you can search by skill set. I didn't remember the person's name. I knew it started with an M, so I just hit M. And it brings up all the people in my organization that start with the letter M. Or maybe I'm looking for a skill set. Maybe I have a big Excel project that I'm working on, and I need to find somebody to help me with Excel because I don't know pivot tables. So I'm looking for somebody in my office that can help me with Excel. So, or it could be maybe somebody who, you know, whatever it is, welding or whatever your customers do. And here's all of the people that can help me with Excel. So I look at Stacy here, and I'm looking at her, and oh, I can see her skill, I can see her past projects and what she's interested in. Let me click in and learn a little bit more about Stacy. And then here, you know, what's great, right, is that we are leveraging other pieces of Office 365. So this, you know, David, you and I spoke about this the last time, and I think Jeff, you and I did too, was how we now bring in Office 365 Delve. And again, your customers own this. They own this. They're just not utilizing it. But quickly here we can see Stacy, she's the marketing manager, her phone number. Here's the OneDrive file she shared with me. You know, I can do a Skype right here by just, you know, Skype chatting with her. I can call her right from here if I wanted to. I can look at her organization of who she reports to, who reports to her. And if I wanted, I could look at her most recent blog. Isn't that beautiful? All of that right from that great people search there. The other thing that every customer wants is, you know, what events do we have going on? So here we're showing all the events that are coming. So I can stop any of these events and drill into these and find out more about the Windows 10 briefing I'm having in Columbus. And, you know, so you can do that. So you have a corporate events calendar that, you know, is consistently rolling. We also have anniversaries and birthdays. So I can stop any of these. And if I wanted to stop and say, hey, Mark, thanks a lot for 17 years, I can send him a quick email right from there. Birthdays, whose birthdays are coming on this month? And, you know, just to go out there. So those are things you'd like to communicate and collaborate on. Here's the shout out button that we can see that you can give recognition to people. So I see earlier I had one of my guys, I saw one of my people, Melissa Mintz, she liked this. Here's two of my guys out there. You know, I can see Melissa thanking people here, Stacy giving a shout out. So shout out recognitions, you can like this. You can go ahead and, oops, sorry about that. You can like these if you want. You can, you know, follow them, whatever you might want to do. RSS feeds, departmental requests. This is huge. So you can do full-on ticketing with anything from IT. So let's do this. Let's just come in here and say, you know, I have a light bulb out. So I'm going to go to facilities. You know, we can go ahead into facilities and, you know, go ahead and, you know, bring in something else or whatever it might be. And, you know, go ahead and do a routing of a ticket. And I could just say, you know, I have a light bulb out. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm having a problem with my computer here, so I apologize. But I can go ahead and route a ticket through here, and it would submit it and route it to the departments. I have different objectives and skills. If I wanted to know what my quarterly objectives are, we can do all of that. Link Twitter feeds, application feeds, employee suggestions, tip of the day, quote of the day. So we have a lot here. You can also do room reservations and things like that if you would like. So Tony, any comments on this right here on how this is selling?
Yeah, and this is always good, especially the I love the workflow that's already built in. So the nice thing about this is it's already built and it can be up and running in a day or two. So not like a normal SharePoint site that, you know, people get an E3 license and it takes them 6 months, 12 months to get something going. These templates help you go and get a SharePoint site up and running, you know, in a couple days rather than months. So it's very popular, not only for our clients, but for other partners' clients. So we talked a little bit in the beginning about not only keeping your clients, but you want to try and attract new clients to come over to you and move their licensing over to you. These are great ways, these tools. What are they getting from their existing partner? You know, they might be buying directly through Microsoft now, so you might want to get them to come over to your CSP. So now you have some different tools to help lure them over. You know, not just come over because we're nice guys. You can get them to come over because you're going to make them more productive. You're going to help them get more out of their Office 365 investment, which our salespeople are saying every day. You know, we're going to help you get more, you know, get the most out of that investment.
Right. And so it's a perfect point that, you know, we're in here and, you know, here I'm going into another one, and we just jumped from one, we went from Root and now I'm in Vine. But we never left Office 365. I'm still in Office 365. Here we have Vine, and this is where we manage all of our contracts. Like many of you, that, you know, you have contracts that you need to track. Well, guess what? Many of your clients, they're tracking contracts too. So we use this, and right away I have almost 1,098 contracts that are current. I got 49 that are expired. I can look at it by month. I can look at it like, okay, what contracts are coming due this month? So I'll just click on, you know, this Baycare Health. This is one of our clients, and I can see on the 29th that I have a contract coming due. So this brings it up and it says, oh, okay, here's the contract number. Here's the customer's name. Here's the value of the contract. It's an annual contract. And you'll notice here that it says notify 90 days in advance. Well, what happens is that the salesperson, Steve Harper, and this maintenance person, Sean Ketting, gets notified 90 days in advance that this customer's contract's coming due. That's $4,202. Well, what's the contract? You can put an attachment in here to see what the contract is. But what a great way to manage. So I can print this out if I want, but here's the contract that's coming due with this customer. That's a $4,200 contract. Really easy to use, very easy to manipulate. Great opportunities for customers to stay ahead of when their contracts are renewing, an opportunity for them to negotiate with their vendors and better communicate and collaborate with their sales teams or whatever it might be. And we also just click on one button, as you can see here on Baycare. Here's all the contracts that I have with Baycare and the dollar amounts of each one and when the start and when the end dates are. So very easily, being able to, manage that. So, we have a lot of customers who, as you can imagine, are lawyers and doctors and all types of things that are tracking, their customer contracts and when they're coming due. Really, really easy to do there. And we have a really robust search mechanism too, where you can, maybe you're a manager and you're trying to figure out, okay, I want to know all the contracts that are coming, that are ending this quarter. So you can, simply just come in here. You can pick the type of contracts you want. You can pick the, you can search by contract number, minimum, maximum value. You can search by start date, end date. You can do, any type of thing you want. Really robust. So let's say I'm looking for all the contracts that are have an end date between now and the end of the year, and I want to know about all those contracts, and I can just simply hit search, and this will run through the database and bring up, here's all of my contracts that are coming due. And I like this Rooms to Go furniture for $1 million. I like that, so, and then I can jump into that and, look at that contract renewal and make sure that we're ahead of the game on that. And as you can see, I have 10 pages of that. So again, a very robust contract management, contract tracking, Office 365. I still haven't left Office 365. I'm still in Office 365, leveraging this great tool that you guys sold them. And, what a great thing. And then we also have a complete asset management within Vine that maybe you want to, track all your, all the warranties that are ending. So I can see this month I get this one printer, this asset that's coming due, that's, that I need to, go ahead and, do something, I guess, because it's coming off of warranty. Maybe I want to track that, which is interesting. And maybe I want to go in here. And then the other thing that you can do, right, Tony, is you can come in and on each asset, maybe there's maintenance that needs to be done. So you can add maintenance to these things. So in other words, maybe let's say you wanted to put a maintenance title, and maybe this was a printer. Maybe it's, somebody needs to, I want to, clean, the toner cartridge, clean the toner. Is there a value to that? What type of maintenance is it? Do you want to, is it an ad hoc? Is it preventative? Is it scheduled? So we're going to say it's a scheduled. Okay, well, make this a repeating event. Okay, great. When do you want to do it? I want to do it on a monthly basis. And you want to do it by day? Yeah, or date. Okay, we'll do it by day. Okay, well, what day? I want the first Monday of each month, and starting this day and what time. And then I can go ahead and save that. And you'll see here that it's saved. And what will happen is, I will get a notification in advance to go ahead and clean the toner. Now, you can imagine with this, it's awesome because we have customers who are maintaining fleets of cars. They need to rotate the tires. They need to change the oil for each one of these assets. And you can put the asset name, the serial number, the location of it, the rack location, building location. You can put attachments in here. So if they wanted to take a picture of the tires of the car, they can do that. So it's all right in here, Tony. And, so from that perspective.
Yeah, and the nice thing is, they already own the software engine because it's in SharePoint. So they already own it. They already pay for it every month as part of their subscription. So it's just another module. So we've tried to come up, and we're going to show you another module shortly. But there are these modules that help them get money, just make the most out of that investment. So we think that is probably the best message of all these tools. But, you already own the engine. You might as well use it.
Exactly. And that's what we're trying to tell you guys, that you can bundle all these templates with your sale. So you might want to say, hey, are you looking for a contract management package to go along with your SharePoint that you're purchasing? And everything works. And the last thing that we had, is really around training. So we know that every company has training needs. Well, and again, I haven't left SharePoint. I'm still in Office 365 using the single sign-on of Office 365. I just clicked into Crown, which is our learning management system. It knows that it's me that's logged in. And I can look, and here's all the learning missions that I have to, I haven't even started these. I need to complete these, etc. I can, go ahead if I wanted to. As a user, I want to change the color. That's not too pretty, but I can change whatever I want and save that. I can look at the badges that I've won, that I've earned, from how to use the telephone to SWAY tutorials, etc. I can look at the rewards that I've earned. And if I also wanted to, there's a leaderboard. I can look at here and look at the leaderboard and see how am I doing against some of my peers on, the different assignments. So, all of that very easily done. It's great. And then I can also, I'm changing job roles. And I was great. Well, I need to learn a lot more things. So a company can, create a bunch of learning missions. It doesn't have to be, just for me, but, you can have whole libraries. I'm just going to go over this Revit. And what's really neat about the learning management system here is that you can come up and you can create, different types of learning for just about everything that you have. So this one was just a demo that we put together. And what was interesting here, if you saw, this was built in Sway, which is really cool. We didn't do it. The customer that we sold it to built it. And I said, oh, can I use it when I'm demoing? So it's pretty cool. But you can use videos in here if you would like. You can use sways. You can use anything that you would like when going ahead and the customer is developing whatever learning that they wanted to. So it's really, really, cool and, easy to use. and very complimentary when you're selling Office 365 that, hey, are you looking for a learning management system, that you want within it? So it's in something else, and you might want to come up with different bundles. So maybe you come up with a connected workplace bundle for your end users, or something else like that. But once again, how do you get the most out of Office 365? Okay, you guys sold it to them. Great. You migrated them to the cloud. Done. Check. Now what are you going to do? Haul ass? Leave them? You're not going to make any more money? Yeah, man. Let's go sell them some templates and workflow projects that they could put in and really leverage what they've invested in. Really unleash the business value of what you sold them. And oh, by the way, the customer has never left, and they can access all of these, through the different app launcher apps, or in a lot of cases, I just save it right to my favorites, and just access everything through my favorites. But either way, it doesn't matter how they do it. The point is, it's very easily accessible. You only need to sign in one time when you log into Office 365, like you guys saw me do that, and then everything else you can access from everywhere. Tony, any comments from your perspective on how you bundle these?
Yeah, and a lot of times, customers are already spending money on things like a learning management system. So they're very easy to cost justify. Just about every company has assets or contracts that they're looking to manage. So these concepts are very well received, and especially in the beginning. There's in our sales process, we always cover the things everybody else doesn't have. We'll let someone else talk about Office 365. We like to talk a little bit, stage 2 and phase 2 and 3 on how they're going to get the most out of it. So we always think this helps us win more deals. And, most customers, when they go through all of these different modules, they see that we're just a little bit different, or a lot different than everybody else that we're up against. So hopefully that message is driving this, the value of this home.
Excellent. Yeah. So not really sure, David, what else we have to go over, but those were the 4 different products that we have. We had the adoption platform that, is relatively inexpensive, that should be wrapped with everything. And then we have the SharePoint Productivity Suite, where, we can go ahead and, really start putting business applications in there. Again, Root, which is an intranet communication collaboration. Crown, which is a learning management system, and then Vine, which is an asset management and contract management system. So, David, not sure if anybody's got any questions or how you want to do this.
Well, let me ask you a few questions first that I had, and maybe the rest of the group has, and then we can open it up for questions from the participants, and see if they have any questions for either Champion or Insight.
Yeah, and then David, I also have a follow-up question as well.
Okay, so the Microsoft Cloud services these reseller clients sell to their customers are always on a month-to-month basis. Customers can make changes on a month-to-month basis, cancel, whatever. The way Champion sells Message Ops, does it mirror how the Microsoft Cloud services are sold under the CSP? Is there flexibility, or is there a term of contract?
So that we can, we're very flexible because we're in the same boat as everybody on the call, right? So we really have to mirror the month-to-month contract that everybody has. Now you could go to your clients and get a minimum term. I have some partners that throw these tools in, but then they get them for a minimum term. So it's really up to you how you want to do it. Our agreement with Insight is that we could go as early as month to month.
Mm-hmm. And then Message Ops is the kind of the umbrella of the brand name. I heard you mention adoption platform, the SharePoint Productivity Suite, Root, and Crown. Are all these individually sold SKUs, and is there a bundle that includes all of them?
Yeah, so they all can be purchased individually. And just so everyone knows, Champion is the parent company. We purchased MessageOps about 5 years ago, and we kept the MessageOps name because MessageOps kind of started out with tools really for migration, tools and utilities. And over the last 4 or 5 years, we've really pushed that development team to add management tools and adoption tools. So we kind of kept that MessageOps name, but all part of the same company.
All right, my last question is, so we have a client that's selling, let's just say 30 Office 365 E3s, and he wants to pitch MessageOps to them, and he gets a lead and he gets a win. So then the MessageOps is not ordered through the same cloud management platform that the Office 365 is ordered through. So they would call their Insight primary account executive. They would ask for a quote for the MessageOps, either suite or a la carte offering they want to resell. We would give them a quote, and then they place an order. And then how is the service delivered to the end user? Do they get a welcome email with a hyperlink to provision the service, or does the partner do that on their behalf? How does the provisioning work after the sale?
Yeah, so great question. So on the adoption, it's very easy, and actually anybody, including yourselves, could sign up for a trial account now. So you can get a trial account, kick the tires, and then at the end of that trial, you have the decision whether or not to move forward with it. But it's a very easy implementation, 5 steps, and it's up and running. So it's very easy. You just have to be the global administrator of Office 365, and you can get that started. On the SharePoint Productivity Suite, Root, Crown, and Vine, that would be more of a kickoff call where we talk to the client and help get that implemented. But you're only talking about a day or two to get that implemented and up and running. And we do have options to customize those tools as well. Some clients want to maybe add a widget or change something, and we can do that as well. So that is available. Or they could just take it exactly as you've seen it. Obviously, we'll help them get it implemented. You want to make sure that they know how to manage this moving forward, and it's very easy. But we take care of all that. So we have an implementation price, and then just the price of the tool.
We have a whole team in customer success management that will walk you and your clients right through this. Very simple. You're not going to go it alone. It'll be very easily deployed, and they'll thank you for it.
All right. Well, thank you. And Jeff, what was your question?
Yes. Hey, thanks, David. So my question was just a kind of your approach to selling your product offerings to your customers. Obviously, there's a difference in how you would probably sell to a customer that's new to Office 365 as opposed to a customer who's pretty familiarized and maybe technically savvy. So kind of just was wondering what your approach looks like as opposed to going from a new customer to an existing customer.
Yeah. So without a doubt, you have to wrap in Office 365 adoption on every sale. I mean, it's just that simple, and it's such a value add. And when you show it to the client, they're going to say, of course I want this. How else am I going to support my end users? Of course. So you just do that on everyone. It's a no-brainer. They will buy it every single time. That's a no-brainer. The SharePoint Productivity Suite, whether it's the intranet, the learning management system, or the asset management system, in the beginning, you want to present that. But in some types, the customer's like, look, man, I just want to focus on migrating my email right now and my calendaring and my file shares into OneDrive, and I don't really want to focus on anything else. Okay, let's not lose the sale. Wrap in adoption, because that's one thing everybody's going to like. But then you would then go back to them and say, okay, now that you're up and running, you're in the cloud, it's time to really start leveraging it. And then you go back in and you wrap this up and say, look, for an extra $2 a month, $10 a month, whatever it is that you guys want to charge, we're going to go ahead and really, unleash the value of what Office 365 is about, above and beyond just freaking email. And I think that's important. So I hope that answers your question. I would bundle it up front in some cases, but in other cases, you can bundle it up front on a sale, right? Like you can say, hey, you know what? My E3 SKU includes all of the stuff from Microsoft and an intranet. Boom. And that's the way you sell it, okay? Or a learning management system comes with mine, or a contract management system comes with mine. And oh, by the way, all of my SKUs come with an adoption platform. So it's just wrapping that up. So to your point, and I think it was a really good question, Jeff, you can bundle them up front with a new customer, but don't be afraid to go back to the customers you've already sold this to and present it. And I think you'll see how many people bite.
Yeah, and one other piece I'll add on that, Chris, is whenever we find someone who's already on Office 365, and we just ask the question, once we find out, is it from a partner or is it from Microsoft Direct? Because there's still so many on the advisor program. We ask the question, what are you getting for your money? Because they're probably paying list price, and they're probably getting Microsoft Overseas Help Desk and nothing else. So they're not that difficult to get them to come over to you from your model, especially if you're leveraging that kind of local partner. We care more. We'll help you get the most out of your investment. And you bring in all these tools, you're offering far more than Microsoft Direct. So that's going to be a way to get these clients to switch over to your CSP program and get that exponential growth that you want.
Yeah.
Right.
If anybody's got any questions, they can type them into the to the Citrix GoToMeeting questions, and we'll go ahead and answer those for them.
There's also a raise hand feature. I'm not sure if that's active on this platform or not, but Tony maybe can see if somebody raises their hand or put it in the chat. We're at the time right now, but for Insight, I'll be glad to stay on for a few minutes longer, and I'm sure the folks at Champion wouldn't mind staying on a minute or two longer if we have some questions that take us past the time.
Okay. I don't know if there's anybody else asking questions, but let us know. We're here to help you guys sell, and we're here to help you close some business. Let us know. But it's a really good solutions, very complementary to what you're selling today, and something that I know Insight is very proud of, and things that you guys could make a lot of money on. So let us know.
Yeah, and if anything does come up after the call and you think of something, don't hesitate to reach out to either David or myself. And if we aren't able to answer, we can certainly find the proper resource that can.
Yeah, and we will be sending out the recording in case you want to share this with anyone else from your organization.
All right. Well, if there's no questions, we'll go ahead and say thank you very much for spending the hour with us. We certainly do appreciate that. And on behalf of Insight and Champion, I hope you all have a great day, and I look forward to working with you all soon. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.